Now, all the way into the building, I'm looking at everything on all the walls. Okay. Does he have Little League pictures? Does he have Army pictures? Does he have skiing?
So what do you think? Do you really need to know about all the art that you see in each business that you try to buy? I want to share with you my experience, my thoughts based on someone who's doing it for the last years right now, buying businesses, looking to buy businesses, helping others to buy businesses, like some of my students who bought 3 businesses in less than a year. I want to share with you some of my thoughts. So, and again, that's all based on kind of like what Dan is talking about in his video. So the first thing is, do I really care when I go to the office and look at what pictures they have or what cars they have in the parking lot? Personally, I don't. I don't think it matters. I think that to begin with, I wouldn't even go to the office as the first meeting. And again, that's just based on my experience. So when you go to the office in your first meeting to buy a business, I don't think that the business owner is feeling comfortable about that. Just because think about you, if you own a business or know someone who owns a business, the last thing you want to do is get all of your employees, get them freaked out by the understanding and thoughts of you selling the business, right? So what I would do is, first of all, as the first meeting, go out there to a neutral place, like a coffee place, or maybe bring them to your office, or just go to a restaurant and go to the bar and drink beers. I think it's much more important for you to focus on building rapport in your first meeting than focusing on what you got around in the office, right? Remember, the business owner, for many of those business owners you're going to talk to, that's the only business that they ever had. It's like their baby, and they're really scared about what might happen if they're going to sell that business. So you got to be there as the safe pair of hands, as someone who's really making them feel comfortable about you being there. So the most important thing to begin with is you got to be able to build rapport. And the best way to build rapport isn't in their office, because that's kind of like their home. All their employees are there. And the last thing you want to do is get anyone to freak out from potentially thinking that they want to sell their business. Now, second of all, the idea of you meeting in person each business owner that you talk to, I don't think it's effective at all. Obviously, in the past, 20, 30 years ago, that's probably one of the only options that you had, unless you had phones back then. But in the end of the day, if you go to meet in person, every business owner you're even thinking of buying, there's just no chance that you'll be productive with your time. Because if you're going to meet a business owner, it's probably going to take you at least half a day I'm talking if you need to travel, drive somewhere, sometimes fly to that business, right? So it's just not productive. To begin with, I would only start with phone calls. I wouldn't even go to the meeting physically. Otherwise, you'll just end up wasting a lot of your time. There's millions of businesses out there that you can talk to. And if you start to go and meet them in person, all of them, guys, there's just no chance that you'll be productive with your time. So personally, I will always start with just phone calls. You can do 99% of a deal nowadays on a phone. Obviously, eventually, especially if there's a physical facility, an office space, and employees, you want to go in there and figure out what you're buying, right? But to begin with, do phone calls and focus on just few key simple things when you're talking to those business owners. And let me walk you through what are the most important things that, in my opinion, you want to focus on when you're talking to those businesses that you potentially want to buy. So there are 3 things that I want you to focus on, or at least personally, I'm trying to focus on when I'm talking to those business owners. The first thing is most important than anything is understanding their motivation. Why and what's the exact reason that they want to sell their business. Because if they're not motivated, you're going to waste your time. Unless you have millions of dollars in your bank sitting that you just want to invest and buy whatever business at whatever price, then you want to make sure that the business owner is motivated and actually want to sell their business, right? So that's the first thing. Make sure that he's motivated. The second thing is you want to figure out what is their expectation, right? So even if he's motivated to sell, you'll see that some business owners out there, they're just like have unrealistic expectations on what they want to get for their business. So if you're in a boring sector like IT or engineering or whatever, and someone will tell you, hey, you know what, I want 20 times multiples on my profits. It just makes no sense, and I won't waste any time with that person, right? I don't think that you need to tell them exactly what you're going to offer in your first meetings, although that's okay if you know how to say that. But if you have someone with unrealistic expectations who just tell you a random number on how much you want for their business, and many times it's just their number that they think that they want for retirement, then I would probably skip that business owner. So you want to filter those things really, really fast. Otherwise, again, you're going to waste a lot of time. So remember, I would start with phone calls. I would start with making sure that I know what is the reason that they want to sell their business. I would realize what is their expectations, what they expect to get for those businesses. And the third thing is I'll try to get their financials as soon as possible. How you do that? Go sign NDAs, whatever they need to get comfortable. Obviously, make sure that you know and have the right list of the things you need to see in the business. And you want at least all the basic financials and the latest financials as soon as possible. Because before you have the financials, you're just talking about random things, random numbers. And what I found out is that most business owners don't even know much about their numbers. Some of them will tell you one thing, but then when you get the actual numbers from the accountant, you see a completely different number and financials. So those are your 3 goals. Figure out why he's looking to sell, what is their expectations, and get the financials as soon as possible. Only when you do that, you're really productive with your time. Otherwise, you're gonna waste a lot of your time going out there to meet people, especially if it's physically, and it's just not the best thing you can do, especially nowadays in 2018. You want to be so much more productive with your time, and just make sure that every deal counts and every lead counts. Otherwise, you'll waste too much time. So yeah, that's it for today, and commentary on that video and what I think you need to focus on when you're talking to business owners. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please subscribe on all of my social media channels. See the links below this video. We have a free training that I'm hosting on how some of my clients bought 1, 2, 3 businesses in less than a year. I'm talking multi-million-dollar businesses, and how they did it using other people's money, and how they found someone else to run and operate the day-to-day for them so they can step back and have a better lifestyle, or just have more time to go out there and do more deals and grow their business by acquisitions, doing bolt-on acquisitions and things like that. So if you want to learn more about that, see below this video on the free training that I'm hosting. And other than that, yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon.